I'll try to be very quick. As Sophie and Czech have already provided an epidemiological overview of Mpox in DRC, I will dive directly into this very brief presentation, which is about the epidemiological highlights from this Mpox clade 1b outbreak in Uvira, in DRC. So first of all, a bit of context. Uvira is a health zone that is mostly urban. 400,000 people live in that health zone, most of them in the city. It's a crossroad between countries. You can see in the map there that it is in the border with Burundi. It's very close to the border with Rwanda, and it's sitting on the shore of Lake Tanganyika, which provides direct communication with Tanzania and Zambia. It's a conflict-affected area. There are many IDPs and refugees living in the city of Uvira. Very important as well, Kamituga, which is the first area where the clade 1b was identified. It's also in South Kivu, so it's relatively close to Uvira. The first cases of Mpox were reported at the beginning of May 2024, and MSF OCA started supporting response activities in June 2024 until March 2025. In terms of methods, we used the MOH case definition. We included all the cases who visited our supported facilities. Samples were tested with qPCR. We used MSF line list to collect data, and we calculated frequencies and percentages for the main indicators. So now, for main indicators, we saw 4,614 cases. 20% of all of them were tested. Among those tested, 60% were positive, so we had a positivity rate of 60. The median between symptom onset and presentation was 4 days. 28% of all cases visiting the facilities were admitted. For those cases admitted, the median length of stay was 5 days. We had a total of 8 deaths, which brings us to a case fatality rate of 0.2%. And very important, 5 out of these 8 deaths were in children under 1 year. So this is a case fatality rate for that group of 1%. In terms of weekly trends, we can see in this big curve here that the number of cases remained very high for many weeks. Also interesting, the percentage of OPD cases increased a bit over time. As we speak, they're still seeing cases in Uvira, around 30-20 cases per week, but MSF handed over activities at the end of March, as I said. In terms of age and sex, in this pyramid, we can see that the most affected age group was children. Under 15 years old were 62% of all cases. Under 5 years old, were like 33% of cases. Just to put into context, there are 17% of children under 5 years in the overall population of Uvira. So this is almost that figure, almost double that figure. Very interesting as well is the change in the percentage of under 15 years over time. We can see that the most affected age group changed from adults to children within a few weeks. At the beginning, most of the cases were adults, sex workers, traders, business people with recent history of travel, but that changed to children. That makes us think that the way the disease arrived into Uvira was via sexual transmission, but then this changed and the disease established itself in Uvira via non-sexual transmission. And on that line, we can see that the most reported type of contact was indirect contact, meaning that the person was in close proximity, but without having physical contact with a case, followed by physical contact. And sexual contact was reported by very few cases. Also very interesting that the most reported location of contact was the household. At this point, we have to keep in mind that one of the distinctive characteristics of the clade 1b is that transmission is exclusively from human to human, as opposed to 1a, where zoonotic transmission plays a very important role. We thought at the beginning, or the reports were saying that the most important transmission for 1b was sexual transmission, but that's not what we saw overall here in Uvira. So in conclusion, this was an analysis from a large case series of Mpox patients infected with the novel 1b clade. This is a changing and diverse epidemiological profile in the sense that the most affected age group and the most common route of transmission changed over time. Also, some of the epidemiological aspects from these outbreaks are different to what have been reported in other areas of South Kivu. Transmission was mostly in households via non-sexual contact. The most affected group was children under 5 years old. Very important, mortality was concentrated under 1 year old. Despite the relatively low severity and mortality, there were many cases, and the outbreak is still ongoing, and this supposes a huge burden for an already overwhelmed healthcare system. And with that, I finish. I would like to acknowledge all the colleagues from different institutions who participated in this piece of work, especially Elvis and Steph, who were the project epidemiologists who did most of this work, but they cannot be here presenting today. So, thanks, everyone.